Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the human heart. The heart is a vital muscular organ that functions as a pump. It is found in the middle mediastinum, wrapped in a two-layered serous sac called the pericardium. Its base faces the posterior thoracic wall, and its apex is pointed toward the anterior thoracic wall. Let's start with the heart chambers. The heart has four chambers: the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. The right ventricle forms the anterior and inferior border of the heart. It pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs through the pulmonary valve. Next, we have the left ventricle, which is crucial for systemic circulation. It forms the posterolateral and lateral walls of the heart, creating heart-left border. The walls of left ventricle are thickest as they pump blood against high pressure present in aorta. The left atrium sits at the back, forming the posterior border of the heart. Enlargement of the left atrium can lead to dysphagia due to compression of the esophagus behind it. Finally, the right atrium forms the right border of the heart, receiving deoxygenated blood from the body. Now let's take a look at the great vessels. The pulmonary trunk arises from the right ventricle and splits into the left and right pulmonary arteries, which carry blood to the lungs for oxygenation. On the other hand, the aorta originates from the left ventricle. It distributes oxygenated blood to the entire body and has four parts: the ascending aorta, aortic arch, isthmus, and descending aorta. The aortic arch gives rise to three major branches: the right brachiocephalic trunk, the left common carotid artery, and the left subclavian artery. Moving on, the superior vena cava returns deoxygenated blood from the upper body, head, neck, and brain to the right atrium. The inferior vena cava carries blood from rest of the body, the legs, feet, and organs in the abdomen and pelvis. Lastly, two pulmonary veins arises from each lung and carry oxygenated blood from the lungs back to the left atrium, ready to be pumped to the rest of the body. Next, let's discuss the coronary arteries, which supply blood to the heart muscle itself. The left coronary artery branches into two key vessels: the left anterior descending artery and the left circumflex artery. The left anterior descending supplies the anterior two-thirds of the interventricular septum and the anterior wall of the left ventricle. It also provides blood to the anterolateral papillary muscle. It also gives diagonal branch. The left circumflex artery supplies the posterolateral wall of the left atrium and ventricle. It gives a left marginal branch. An inferior left ventricular branch. Meanwhile, the right coronary artery primarily supplies the right side of the heart in the sinoatrial node. It gives coronal branch, ventricular branch, right marginal branch, posterior descending artery. Heart dominance is determined by which of the initial coronary arteries supplies the PDA. The heart is right dominant in 85% of the population if the PDA is supplied by the RCA, left dominant if given by left circumflex, and codominant if given by both. Finally, let's explore the interior of the heart, starting with the right ventricle. The interventricular septum separates the two ventricles. Inside the right ventricle, we find coarse apical trabeculations. The conus arteriosus, the muscular part, forming the outflow tract of right ventricle. Here you'll also see the three leaflets of the pulmonary valve: the left, right, and anterior leaflets. The chordae tendineae connect the tricuspid valve leaflets to the inferior papillary muscle, ensuring proper valve function. Now let's look inside the left ventricle. We observe fine apical trabeculations and chordae tendineae connecting the mitral valve to the papillary muscles. This deep inside the left ventricle is an aortic valve, having three leaflets that pump blood out of the heart into the aorta. And there you have it, a comprehensive look at the heart chambers, great vessels, coronary arteries, and the internal structure of the heart. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more education.